Yes. Good evening, Dixieland Pinball. This is Nathan Braden, owner operator Dixieland Pinball, located outside of Clinton, Tennessee. It's Sunday, November 2nd, at around 8:30 p.m. Guys, I want to jump on here to give you a quick video, just some things that's going on, and I just like to come on here and talk. Obviously, to express what I got going on, and again answer some emails and calls and stuff I was had sent to me over the weekend. Few changes, actually some very good things I want to share with you all tonight as a community. About a year or so back, things just kind of took a turn for the worst here for me personally, both in my business dynamic and in my work dynamic and home, family and business and personal, and things just kind of spiraled out of control. I didn't know what to do with things, so I just kind of went away and shut the shop and spent 6 to 8 months pretty much reflecting on what I wanted to do with life and the business moving forward. And I've mentioned this time or two before, and I don't want to keep going on the same old stuff, but I just kind of want to bring some news to you all tonight. For those of you who may not know, the Dixieland Pinball page is back up on Facebook, and that reflects my changed position as of this past week on where I'm going to go in the future with the shop. I've got a little board right here behind me, and it says, "Finish what you started." And that's always been a mantra of mine, and for those who don't know in previous posts, and I don't like quitters. I don't like people who just give up, and I just kind of felt like that after taking a good kick or two in the teeth this year, at 25's been a dumpster fire, and I quit. And that's just not me. It's not who I am. I'll compete, fight for what I want and what I think's right to the bitter end. And I'll take a loss or a defeat knowing I did all I could do. Well, announced a week or two back on here that I was going to close this shop, close this business, and move forward with my life. But I just don't want to do that. I said in an earlier video that I was kind of unsure where I was going, but I was going to shut it down. Well, I don't finish what I started if I do that. I got another great doctor's visit in the books, and my health is in good shape, and I'm still losing weight, and everything's great on that end. So I'm not being pushed on the health side, and I think the only thing that was really kind of pushing myself was me. And once I sat around this past week and took a long ride up on the mountains, on the bike, and I just kept thinking to myself, what are you doing, Nathan? What are you really going to achieve by stranding what is literally hundreds of games in this big, massive building, more parts than I'll ever use? And I thought, I got in trouble several years back when a big wave of parts and games came in here to be repaired from private people, and I got really behind, and I was fixing to retire from the plant, and I was unsure what my financial status would be there with my pension and everything, which turns out was even better than I expected, and other things come into play that has just catapulted this, that it's not a financial necessity to run this thing. But that's why I didn't start it that way to begin with. So I had all these games piled in here, and then I got behind. Then I hit 2 or 3 games in a row. A Slick Chick. I've got a Cover Girl in here right now that I just cannot solve, and a few other games that just kind of trickled through here, and it's kind of buried me down. And then I started getting whipped on my personal side with a degrading relationship, and things just kind of went downhill there. And I just piled it all up and just kind of let things go. And I tried to just stay so focused on trying to stay more at the house and more with that and try to work through things, and I put this on the back burner. I was willing to do that for them, and it didn't work out. So here I am, buried and discouraged, and Dan Cryer and others I've talked to, Adam Lamb and Eugene Marsh and others that I've just called to that are in the business in other areas of the states and Missouri and up north and places that, how do you handle stuff like this? And, this is a scale that these guys have never been involved with either. So I really didn't know what to do. My intent was from the beginning to just get all these games and fix them and sell them individually and just bring them out of here. But when word got out that I did good work, and restoration work and repair work and worked on all kinds of stuff that nobody else would take, junk, a lot of them, it buried me. So I took it all in, and I had 26 games here at one time, and I was telling people I'm over 2 years behind, and people still kept bringing stuff. And, I got a baseball game in here that I've been working on for a while, and it was actually brought here when I was on crutches from knee surgery. I didn't want it here, but it came anyway. I'm not knocking the guy. He's a great guy, and he's going to get his product. But it just kind of snowballed things that has put me here. A couple deaths, this relationship issue, and some family dynamic changes, and the economy swing, and health, and the bike, and just no desire, and a remodel on the house, and just a lot of things that were just kind of out of my control. So I come tonight, maybe I'm telling too much of my business. Hell, I don't care. It's just who I am. But I've had a turn of my mind. I'm not going to shut this thing down. A lot of what I've realized in the last couple of weeks as I continue to heal and move through my journey of the walk is a lot of decisions that I was making pertaining to the business moving forward and what I wanted to do here in East Tennessee pertaining to residency and things like that and moving to the coast was my dream. But it was also the dreams of someone else too, and I was willing. People need to understand this. I was willing to shelve this whole thing that I'd worked on to build for 15 years to help in the mission to move down there and retire and have a good life together. Well, I'm glad that I didn't do that. Not so much that it didn't work out, as much as I would have left a lot on the table here that I think God made sure I didn't leave on the table. I have a ton of games that are mine that I love. I've got a little tyke in my world. I'm not going to mention it. I don't want to bring family into this. That is just going to absolutely love some of this stuff, and I'm going to build this game room like I planned. And Dixieland Pinball, guys, is back. It's here. It's me. I'm the face of it. And I almost let my feelings for others get in the way of my dream. But that's kind of what love is supposed to be about, isn't it? It's supposed to be about sacrificing for ones you care about, and that dreams that I want should sometimes be followed, but dreams that they wanted should sometimes be followed too. So, with all that being said, I just couldn't justify shutting it down now. It's just me now, and that's just the way it is, and that's okay. So it lets me focus now and use a lot of my time that I wasn't going to have because I was out doing other things to get back into here and try to stimulate a little fire in my belly to motivate myself to get this stuff back out of here. I've talked to, Kevin Bilbrey up in Oneida called me, and Gary Brewster, and I don't like to call people out my names, but they're important to me because they're guys that, other than pinball, I would have never met. Those people up in Oneida were great people, and when they reach out to me and say, "Hey, we're worried about you. We need you. We want you to work on our stuff. You're a boon. You're an asset." And then Randy, pinball repair, Randy's like, "Nathan, you're a great guy. The hobby needs us." And I agree. I started to make this about me and my significant other at the time, and make this about something other than what it should have been. And that was to provide repair, sales, service, support, and build enthusiasm in the arcade and pinball community. And in East Tennessee, there's just not a lot of that going on. I'm presently, I know I'm going to regret saying this, but I'm presently reading on how to work on upright arcades, teaching myself that, just like I did these solid states and flippers, because nobody works on arcades. The old uprights like Gallagher and all those with the CRT monitors, nobody works on those. I mean, there's board supply people, but to actually have someone in this area bring an upright arcade, there's just nowhere for that to go. And it's a market that I pushed away because I just didn't know how to work on them. And I said, well, I can work on them and learn how to work on them. That's okay, because there's nothing I can't fix except some personal things. But that's out of my hand. But I can fix that. But then I was like, well, I don't want to because I'm not going to be here. Well, that's changed because I am going to be here. The move and all that is going to happen, but it's not. I'm going to be back and forth. It's not like I'm going to leave here and never come back. I'm not. Murrells Inlet's just 6 hours from here. It's not across the world, so it's going to allow me when I get the house and get it settled. Is I can live there, and I can live here, and if I want to rent down there, I can come back here and still run the shop. My financial advisor's like, Nathan, you don't need to shut your business down to go live somewhere else if you don't want to. I'm 59 years old. So I can still have that and still have this. And once I put my emotions away from what's going on in my heart and in my dynamic and start looking at the reality of the business as a whole, I was fixing to make another crazy mistake and just kind of put this thing on a back burner. So a few announcements. I'm going to change there's not going to be an ad like I said in the previous video on Marketplace. I'm not going to do that anymore. I'm not selling that wing of the business out. I'm keeping it. There is a market here for crane games on location, upright arcades on location. So I'm currently in the thoughts of maybe putting games out on routes and just letting them sit around businesses and draw maintenance and rent off that. U.S. Cabin Rentals in the Smokies has reached out, and they want me to service games in their area. There's over 10,000 cabins. I can't do that. I would live on the road, and it's a great offer. Again, this is 2 times they've reached. I can't do that. So I can still sub in some work there too in the Sevierville, Townsend area. So that's something that's come up in the last week. I'm probably not going to do house calls much anymore, except for the people that I do service on a regular basis. Or if I sell it, of course, a game out of here, of course, you get my service. Free house call, the first 2 or 3 visits, stuff like that. Anyway, that all works out in the paperwork that we sign. But the cell phone message that you'll get if you call and don't answer will be changed to reflect new business hours. I'm going to have a totally redesigned website. I'm going to have a full line of merchandise, shirts, hats, keychains, mugs, things of that nature. Going to have a totally redesigned logo. That's all in the works right now. I see it's all stuff that I've had planned and mentioned that there's some things in the works because I wasn't sure what I was going to do. And I have good days and bad about all this, and tomorrow morning I may get up and say, "Oh, the hell with it, I don't want to do nothing," and lay in bed all day. But I'm battling to get through that, and this is the only place that I can come other than on the back of Scarlet and get my head right looking forward. God gifted me with some hands of talent and a mind, and wasting it sitting around pissing and moaning about my personal life it's just a waste. So these hands have got to get back in these games. I'm over here now tonight working, Sunday night. I'm retired from my real job. I can set my own hours. I run my own show. I answer to no one but myself, and that's badass. I love that. And that's how it is. So I'm excited to announce that there's going to be a new website, a new logo. Some messages are going to change. The pages are going to change. The mission statement's going to change somewhat as I morph more into a refurb and resale market versus bringing someone's stuff in here and working on it and charging and sending it back out. I'm getting all that worked out with my tax people now on how I can work that dynamic in here, handle my zoning issues being a residential area. Um, it's not a business per se, so I have to really watch that. And, I don't get a lot of the perks because of my residential area, so it is what it is. There's been some discussion about moving the whole business show to a storefront somewhere and hire people, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to get any bigger than I am. So I'm rambling, I know, but I'm just kind of excited because, without going down the rabbit hole again, I've had the hell kicked out of me this year. I'm just going to be blunt. People can say what they want. My own doing, you deserve. I don't care what you say, to be honest with you. I know the damn truth. And I know why I'm sitting here. And I know why this thing's went the way it has. And I know why I got in this hole. And I know what this has caused me. And now it's time to grow a set and get up off my rear end and get this thing back on track. Because that's what it deserves. Because what that will do if I quit this is it's going to give people the power to destroy what I built. And nobody controls me and what I do when it comes to this business. That's just the way it is. Or me. You're not going to control me either. So for that, now that I got that out of my way, it's all good. And it's going to be okay. And life is what it is. And I'm going to use this for so much motivation to continue to push Dixieland Pinball over the top of what I want to do. Bingo work, flipper work, EM work. I'm working on an arcade cabinet, video cabinet, my first one. Cool because I got it working. Cocktail tables, shuffle bowlers, all this stuff's going to go back onto the table to be fixed. I don't know where I will go soon in terms of this business as far as the facility goes. New bathroom is being built in here. Probably going to put a shower in it, place to sleep. Probably stay over here some, rent my place. I don't know what I'm going to do. I hadn't decided on that. But it's exciting to know that there's good times back in my life, and I'm looking forward to the year 26 ahead because hell, 25 just got awful. On a personal note, pray for me, guys. I've got a cousin that Jason that I grew up with, and he was 3 months older than me, and he's fixing to turn 60, and he's had a long, hard battle with alcohol, and he is not well. I've lost 2 aunts, my dad, a lot of personal issues, and now this one is going to be a tough blow for me. We weren't close the last several years because of his drinking, obviously, but it's still the kid that I kicked the can with, and we played Dungeons and Dragons with when I was 15 and rode together and played in these arcades when we were kids, and he was a part of my life, and it's going to be hard to get back up off the mat when he goes. I'm going to be preaching his funeral. I'm not saying he's going to be dead tomorrow. That's not what I'm saying, but it's not good, folks. So please take a moment to say a prayer if you do pray for him as the family embraces what's coming. My cousin Sherry Lynn, his sister, is struggling from losing her dad less than a year ago, my uncle. And now she's going to have to probably face this and all the trials and struggles. And I hope she doesn't mind me putting out her business a little bit on here. But, the community of Dixieland is huge. And I've said it before, it's a family thing. And the people who's come here recently and just sat down in here in my office and just talked and cried. And, it's amazing the people that come to feed me through my troubles. I end up feeding them, and then we end up feeding each other, and we pray together. And there's a lot of strength in that, folks. And man, I never thought when I started going down to Chattanooga, and I met a man down there who was running Chattanooga Pinball, and I think he's since closed, but he had this huge warehouse. I'll share the story. He had this huge warehouse down in Rossville, Georgia. And I was just starting to get in the business, and he was trying to get out and pay bills, and he was in bad financial trouble. And I was just walking down through here, and it was just massive. You could set 10 of my buildings in that place, and it was insane the number of games he had. And I would just walk down, and he had like 500 pinball machines. I'm not kidding you, just laying there. And I'd point, and he'd say $100, $200, $100, $150, and I just loaded up trailer loads of EMs and solid states and parts for rock bottom prices back before the market went straight up. So I'm sitting on a ton of stuff that I got dirt cheap, and the market bent up, so I got lucky there. But I say that to say this, he told me one time, he said, Nathan, are you going to do this for a living? I said, well, no, I work at Y12 in Oak Ridge for the federal government. I don't need this for the job. I'm doing it for the fun. He said, you can't do both. It will overwhelm you. It will take your life if you let it. You'll be working 24 hours a day. You're going to be doing this and that. And I didn't believe any of that, but he was right on every bit of it. It got to where I did both, but it wore me down. And when I got emotionally attached with someone, I was alone for a long time, and I didn't want to, I didn't have anything else to do. And then we met, and I want to spend all my time with her. And over here, I didn't want to do it. And I realized that he was right, that you have to really make a lot of sacrifices. And when I was thinking about this video tonight and how I was going to word it, I thought, if I walk off from here and shut the door, I let my buddy Hugh down, God rest his soul, down in Cartersville, Georgia. I always mention him first for his care and love, and his wife Pam for just all the days he put in with me. And I quit 50,000 times, and he just laughed, knowing I'd call back tomorrow and try to work on stuff again. And countless hours, Hugh just kept me in the game. And I said in my last video I'd bring some people out. Steve Kirchen in Canada, so much talk with him and getting me, the Devil's Dare Grail game, and looking all over that area of Canada for follow that I finally got somewhere else. But Steve kept looking, and the Bullseye Chicago coin baseballer that I'll have in my permanent collection that'll get passed down to my grandson is just an inkling of those. Adam Lamb, Lamb's Computers, Gene Marsh Boards out in Missouri, and Randy's Pinball Repair over here in Knoxville, and Bill Gyron, especially stainless, that does all my stainless work, and True Powder Coating and Severeless doing all my powder coating, and JP Mackey, my financial advisor for Wells Fargo, who's been instrumental in just helping funnel all this massive amounts of resources into here through my stuff that has just catapulted me to just another level of productivity. And it's countless. Ace Hardware in Clinton for just ordering me endless fasteners, nails, and screws. City Glass up in Clinton that just provides all my sheeted glass for me, my tempered glass, my specialty cut glass. It's like they just been over backwards, and some people give me stuff at cost because they support local businesses, and it's just been an abundance of people that God seems to keep throwing into my world that keeps me going. And I could not consciously, it just dawned on me in the mountains yesterday when I was riding, I just could not consciously say, you know what, I'm just done. If I still had something in my tank, and it was going to let all those people down who spent really some of their time, effort, and money too to make sure I was successful, not just so much as a pinball guy, but in my personal life too. And it was like I let those people down. And it's just kind of like how I did in my personal situation here a few months ago. I had to leave everything out there and just make this last try to do things, to reconcile things and make things work, because I couldn't walk away from something knowing I didn't do everything I thought I could have done to fix things. And once you do that and it doesn't bear fruit, then you can move on to other things, whether you want to or not, because you have to, and rebuild, regroup, and let God bless you again through something else. So that's kind of what I've done there. But I know that I did everything I could and left everything out there. So I said, well, hell, Nathan, you do that in your personal matter that you had, but you didn't do it in the shop. So that's what this is about tonight, is to say, I still have something left in my tank. I didn't think I had the ability for it, but I'm going to get that back. I did this week and the last week, because the table has turned with me in a lot of ways. Personal battles that was weighing the shop future down. And I come to realize that I should never, ever rely on anyone else making me happy but myself. Don't ever put your happiness in the hands of others people. You have to maintain some sense of control in your own future. There's a lot of good work that's come out of here. And I'm just going to say it again. When you all get to see this Dolly Parton custom restoration that I'm doing for a Cherry Lodge up in Townsend. I believe that's the name of the place. It's a Cherry Blossom Lodge up in Townsend. It's going to be staggering. This Dolly Parton machine will be ground up mint. Over 60 pieces have gone out of here to a specialty coater and coated with hot pink metal flake coating. It's going to have a CPR playfield. It's going to have a new BG Resto back glass. Every single component of that machine will be brand new to go in this massive dining and lodge hall for a gentleman that I know in Townsend. And in the works, it will have specialty stainless and Bill Gyron's metal in it, to which will lead probably to being able to meet Dolly personally, hopefully, because of the work his business does for Dollywood. And if I work things right, she will meet us to unveil that machine at that lodge. And I'd love to meet her and get her to sign that glass. And the owner of the machine, who I will not say his name, has already said that he is willing to make a 6-digit donation to the Appalachian book ministry that Dolly Parton does for underprivileged children in Appalachia, so they can learn to read and have books in their home. You don't think Dixieland pinball is not making a difference? It is. And I almost let what I thought I wanted for a future, I almost let that all go and missed that. And the more I sit here late at night and just think and process what all has happened that's led me to this moment right here, everything is starting to fall into place as to why God allowed all this to happen. To know that I have come from the bowels of despair to this in 4 or 5 months is a remarkable journey. And I didn't realize just how big of an influence this can be, not only in my life, but now we're starting to talk about touching kids in rural Appalachia to get them books. Because this old guy in Clinton is working on pinball machines. And the word of mouth goes to word of mouth, goes to word of mouth, and next thing you know, this opportunity just blossoms right here in front of me. It wouldn't have blossomed if I'd left all this and went down there. It may have, but it wouldn't have been this way. It may have had the biggest impact, but probably not. I'm going down there. That's where I'm called to be. I'm a Pisces. I got to get near the water. But I don't have to leave my life here. And I'm learning that I can do both. If it's God's will, that's what'll happen. I didn't mean to go down the ramble, but you know me. We're back in, I don't want to use the word business. We never quit here. I never quit here. I just shudder for a while because I had to find myself. I was in a bad way. in a real bad way, dangerous bad way of doing something. Oh, don't want to go there. But I dodged that bullet, and I called on the master, and he answered. I'm not divine, and I'm not special in any way. I'm an old wretch and a sinner, just like everybody else. But by God, I work tirelessly, endlessly. When you all sleep, I'm laying in the bed scrolling through parts manuals, ordering stuff for stuff that I'm not going to work on for a year. Paint schemes, stencil schemes, tools, T-molding, bulbs, screw, every single thing that comes through here gets ordered through me. And I have to track all that. These books, I have to keep track of. Got to keep Taxman honest. It's a huge undertaking. I wanted it to be a partnership, but it didn't turn out that way. But in a way, it really has. Not at a personal level here with those who reside here, but it's a personal partnership now with others, with especially stainless, with true powder coating, with all these people that supply stuff for me. It is a relationship, and it wouldn't have hurt these people at all for me to pull out, because these are mega business people, and I don't bring a significant impact to them, but that's not the point. They're all willing to provide product for me, no matter how small or big I need it. And I just couldn't walk away from them and let them down. That's why it's been such a huge challenge for me personally with things I've gone through this year, because I don't like to walk away from something. I see potential in people, and I see potential in things. I see potential in this shop, and I saw potential in them, and I saw potential in a grand scale. And sometimes, I won't say sometimes, I made a mistake and kind of, I just lost myself in the potential and not reality. Because sometimes people don't live up to the potential that you think they have in them. No, that I know they had in them, but they just don't want to do it. And it's just like this business. It has massive potential. But I just got to where I didn't want to do it. But I decided, Nathan, it's time, pardon my French out there, it was time to shit or get off the pot. My son hates that statement. But anyway, it's time to get shit or get off the pot. And I could not pick up my phone and make another call to people saying, look, I'm sorry. I know it's been here a year, but I'm not going to be able to fix it. That's a lie. If I had said that, it's a lie. What I should have said was the truth was, I don't want to fix it. Not I can't. See? And I can't live that way because that's not how I'm cut. I can't walk away from something I believe in. And I believe in this shop. And I almost walked away from it. I believe in me. And there for a while I walked away from myself. And when things got bad, things got hard here, and I had to face the world pretty much the first time just alone, I didn't have an identity anymore. Because I had went away. Because I tried to become something for someone else that just didn't. I lost myself. This business took part of me. That relationship took part of me. My family next door took a lot away from me. And I had to learn who I was again. And what I've learned in the past few weeks is it's always been down in there, Nathan. You just didn't have the guts to face your problems. And like I said in the last video, I finally, I'm going to get serious, guys. I finally decided it's time to face your problems. It's time to look at yourself and look at the things you do that are destructive in your own personal life. And the things that happened growing up that I just never had processed. And it's ugly. It took Mackenzie, who's just a rock of my therapist, and we just went deep inside my soul and inside my mind, and I just bared it all. You know, it was bad. You leave a session with a soaking shirt. Most men would probably say, "Oh, he's just a puss." No, buddy, you're the puss for not going and getting help. And what it did was it lit a fire under me to remind me of my own personal worth, to remind me of how good a guy I am. It's not narcissism. It's okay to feel good about yourself, people. You have to. I accepted my faults. I accepted my crosses to bear. Took responsibility for the things I needed to do. I'm still mending fences on a more personal level. That's quite frankly not Facebook, YouTube business. And I love them. And I apologize for every single thing that I ever said and done to hurt them. Family's important, folks. It's the most important thing you have. Don't ever take them for granted. Don't take your health for granted. Don't take the person that you lay in bed next to every night for granted either. Because just like that, things can change, and I'm a witness. I'm bare to that. But people didn't give up on me. They didn't. The people I thought abandoned me when I needed the most didn't abandon me at all. They let me wade into the forest to battle things on my own because I was the only one that had to do it. And it taught me that life's precious. And that guys like me just aren't around anymore. I hadn't failed at shit. I was just redirected. And I've been redirected into a purpose again, and that's this business. And it's my life. And it's where I move forward. This is not easy. It's the holidays. It's cold. It's the time of year things went down a year ago, and it's just the way it is now. I come to business every day with a reality of what things are now. Not a dream of maybe this, maybe that. No. I'm in control of where I go moving forward. There's a special one out there that in time I will bring out and talk about some more that is really misunderstood, that has played an instrumental role in daily phone calls and texts to me, "Hey, are you okay?" A friendship that is beyond rock solid. Amazing person. She's strong and has been instrumental in putting back into my head that the image that others portray of you is not who you are. There are always going to be people out there that brings you down, Nathan. There's always going to be people out there that brings you down. Dixieland's back. I'm fighting hard with some innovative ideas to help streamline and get some stuff out of here quicker. State area vocational school. Waiting on a call back. Maybe I can get some interim people to work on some electronic stuff for me through the schools. co-op partnership like I did with David Crockett High School a couple years ago. I'm thinking about trying to do that again with a school here local. Donate a machine, bring about camaraderie within the field. A lot of things on the plate. I'm 40 minutes video, but I'm gonna go as long as I want to, and I don't care. I think about those early days at the house. I never expected to be here, but I never expected to be 3 or 4 months away from 60, and at probably what I think is one of the most exciting and important times of my life, and have no, how do I word this? I don't really know what the goal here is for me. The business model is clear. I've been writing, journaling, of course, daily. A model has been drawn out. I thought about maybe seeking a business venture like workshops, the local junior colleges here in Oak Ridge or somewhere, and go through some of these small business workshops, Chamber of Commerce, and things of that nature. I can't just withdraw from life anymore. And I haven't. I've been getting out a lot and been doing a lot of things, but there for a while, I just really didn't know kind of where I was going to be anymore at all. But it's exciting to be here tonight and just bouncing off ideologies of mine and just how fun things are coming up. And I just think about my close friend's voice in my head. You are worth something, Nathan. You are this, you are that. Know who you are. Know your purpose. There's a lot to be said for a man who was loyal. There's a lot to be said for a man who didn't lie to them. There's a lot to be said to a man who runs a shop that he does right by people. That $20 coil is a $20 coil, not a $50 coil, because they don't know the difference. That's not how I do business. That's why it's where it's at. You got to be honest with people. But in being honest with people over the years I've run the shop, I got to where I wasn't honest with myself. And that's where I made a mistake. My inability to say no to people. My inability to set boundaries within my personal life. My inability to really look at red flags and say, hey, this is not right. This is going to lead to destruction. And I just ignored it. To think that you can just work harder but not smarter doesn't fix things either. To think you can outlove a problem doesn't fix it. To think you can just sit idly by and let time take its course and you show someone devotion at an unbelievable level that it's going to fix it. It doesn't. Communication is key. And I didn't communicate with myself deep down inside what I really wanted out of life. So I'm going to end the video. But I want to say this. Some surprising, exciting things are coming down the pipe. When just a couple weeks ago I was on here doom and glooming. I know there's going to be a lot of people thrilled, and I expect you guys better call me tomorrow and give me a pat on the back, because you've been on my ass for months about getting this show back up and going, and it's time. It's time to smile again. It's time to look forward to the future. It's time to embrace the next great thing that comes into my life and be able to share that unconditionally with them, and the bike and the travel and all that stuff. It's just coming, and it's so fun to know that even though things didn't go sometimes the way you want them to go in life, folks, just hang in there. Pay your dues. Don't waver away from who you are. Pray diligently. use a servitude heart, and live right, and God will take care and bless you with abundance. Folks, Dixieland Pinball is back. Stronger and better than ever. You need me, call, reach out. I look forward to your comments on YouTube. These are going back on the Facebook page. God bless you all, and I'll talk to you soon. Let's go, Dixieland Pinball fans. Share this page. Get it out. Nathan Braden on Granite Road is back with a vengeance. Life is good, and let's go. Have a good night. Thank you.